warm welcome to ET Education presents the EdTech Advantage, a new age leadership studio series sponsored by Google Cloud. I'm your host Devina Lason, and today we are exploring a theme that lies at the heart of India's learning revolution: fostering educational excellence at scale. So, joining me today are three distinguished voices who are leading this transformation. I'd like to warmly welcome Mukul Rustagi, CEO and co-founder, ClassPlus; Amit Anand, co-founder and CTO, K-12 Techno Services; and Vaibhav Kumar Srivastava, Head Education and EdTechs, Google Cloud India and SAARC. All right, gentlemen, a very warm welcome to ET Studios. Thank you so much for joining us today. Such a pleasure to have you all here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So, we're here to really deep dive into such a critical topic in the Indian education landscape, which is fostering educational excellence at scale. And we'd love to hear, of course, from founders and CEOs like yourselves, what it means for you to create that ecosystem which really enables your educational outreach to reach the entire nation and much more, and so much empowered through technology. And Vaibhav, we'll deep dive into this with you too. So Mukul, let's kickstart with you, just to set a little bit of context setting here. What role in your experience does all the emerging technology, we're of course looking a lot at cloud tech and how this is such a powerful enabler, but what role would you say technology is playing in enabling everything that we are talking about, education at scale?
So I think what we've seen over the last 10 years specifically, and this decade has seen the fastest adoption of this curve, that there is hardly any aspirant preparing for any examination in the country today who's not exposed to some sort of an online experience, whether directly, indirectly, preschool, post-school, or in their competitive prep, or their self-study prep, or revision prep, or basically the test is whatever that entire ambit of preparation that they do, they're exposed to it some way or the other. Now, in some cases, what they do is they basically, and by the way, like not just it is across examinations, it's across geographies, demographies, and then each of the kid would probably, or each of the aspirant, as I should say, they would be engaging in a little different manner. Somebody would be taking live classes, somebody would be studying from recorded lessons, somebody would be probably far off place where they just need digital notes for something that they can't find in their vicinity, or like most of the people, they would be enrolled in some sort of a national test series just to benchmark where they exactly are. And again, like the problem is even like the situation is even more complex, because once they decide what do they want to study and where do they want to study, so once they decide what do they want to study, then they also have multiple options, right from their nearby coaching center who has gone digital, to let's say some content creator across the country who they've been following on social media, to let's say B2C consumer platforms, like there are so many in the world, right? So I think in all of these places, the bottom line is that no aspirant today is untouched by the exposure to technology. And those technologies come in multiple shapes and forms, right from something like a test taking engine, which requires a lot of concurrency to, or let's say a lot of data security to essentially be there, to something like a live classes, which has to work right in a metropolitan like a Bombay, to let's say a midtown like a Bareilly, to probably a much like a tier 3 town like Bhilwara, right? And across these cities, there would be kids who will be having different handsets, different broadband speeds, and the live classes actually has to work at all places, otherwise there will be a lag in the classes. And then accordingly, and then so many more complications with like so many more formats. I think that is where the emergent technologies, whether it's the hosting on cloud, whether it's the streaming or transcoding using different technologies, or is it is just protecting the entire data and ensuring that it reaches out safely. I think all emerging technologies around data security, cloud, streaming, hosting, and even like in a lot of cases online transactions, because most of the students pay to get these services. I think that is what the entire ecosystem has now become and is very critical.
Wonderful. Thanks for painting that picture so clearly. And Amit, let's get you in on this as well. Very interesting to understand from a company like yours, which, as we know, is a very education-first organization. So how is tech really impacting and enabling you, not only from the student perspective, but even as a support system for teachers, administrative matters? How is tech and cloud infrastructure really infiltrating into your organization?
So it's like completely an ecosystem for our school to run from like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. kind of thing, where you have everything in place and you can handle all the things from central level. So we have completely gone through from like in 2020 we had something which is kind of a basic ERP, and now it's something which is after COVID we have turned everything into just go with the flow. If things getting sorted through tech, enable it, AI implementation, or either it's an student-wise data or dashboards which amplify their daily skills and all. So this is how it is adding value to each and every stakeholder in our school, either it's teacher or administration or a central core team.
Thanks for that. And Vaibhav, now after hearing from our wonderful CEOs and founders here about how deeply, of course, tech and cloud infrastructure is impacting their organizations, I'd love to understand from your perspective, how exactly is Google Cloud working with organizations such as these educational institutions? How are you really being that empowerment layer?
So we at Google Cloud have tools and services to provide to organizations like ClassPlus and K-12 to actually enable everything that they want to do. As Mukul mentioned, it's about streaming, right? And streaming can be everywhere and anywhere. It can be in a village, it can be a metro city. So it has to be a seamless experience to stream without any buffering, and the student should get the seamless experience as they would get in any other cities, right? For them, I think to run a school, they need insights. They need a lot of stuff where they should have decision-making power with data-driven insights. And that's what we enable for them. So multiple use cases for multiple organizations like them, but it all joins at the core towards the technology. So it all brings everything together and empowers them to ensure that they get the output that they're looking for, and they need the desired technology that they need is available at their disposal. It can be also around scaling. Someday you will have, for example, an online kind of a scenario, you might have 100 students, and someday you might want 50,000 students to be, attending the same lecture. So the capacity building, the scaling on the go should be available.
Before that, to understand from both of you, Mukul, as you said in the beginning, catering to your audience of students, which is across vast locations, vast geographies, maybe difference in connectivity, difference in income backgrounds. How are you again harnessing tech? Of course, AI-powered tools is such a big solution today to create those personalized learning experiences for each and every one of those students.
Yeah, I think so. What we inherently do is we don't think that we are the right I'll just rephrase this. So what we essentially do is that all the creators or educators that you see in the country today, the ones who are trying to take their offline coaching online, or people who have like post-COVID began their YouTube channels or Instagram channels, or let's say WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, all of them ultimately once they amass a large audience, and which also allows them to go from, let's say, just 100 students in a small coaching center in some city to probably teaching like 10,000 students in a class, because now they've just removed the barrier of access to from their audiences altogether. Now, when these creators, these are typically one-man shops, or let's say one-man channels, who are extremely good at what they do, which is basically growing their organic user base and then delivering lessons in a language that most of them really understand. Sure. And when I say language, it's not just about the language, it's about the language, their body language, their anecdotal ability, their ability to explain really complex concepts in like a one-way manner, because like online classes are not two-way. At least YouTube is not two-way, right? So these are exceptionally gifted creators in the country, but for them to like really make a livelihood out of it, they need to set up their own digital coaching centers, or let's say online coaching centers, where they would need all sorts of ancillary things, right from, let's say, hosting their content to cataloging, to ensuring that the transactions happen in the right way, to ensuring that the ledgers are there, to even keeping tab records of what the student performances are, and yet also ensure that the tech reaches to the last mile user comfortably. Typically, like 20-25 years back, if somebody tried to do this, they would either need a big tech consulting firm as their outsourcing partner, or they would need to be techies themselves, both of which are not feasible for single person channels. That is where technically ClassPlus essentially comes in. Whereas we say that we are technically the CTO/CPOs of every online creator educator in the country, so that they do what they do best and we do what we do best, because otherwise their time essentially goes into something which neither are they very interested in, nor do they have the core capability, and it ultimately takes away time from what they're really good at, which becomes a hindrance for them to grow. So in our case, like most of the AI actually that we use is not directly on the end-to-end thing. The kind of interventions that we do on AI is that how does a teacher, let's say, how does a creator upload 10x more lessons and caters to 10x more students at like 10x more frequency without the cost going 10x, or without the service standards falling by even 10%. How do they cater to the last mile remote villages or towns without the streaming experience not dropping by any yardstick, and yet it becomes economy? So how do like creators, when they launch their online coaching academies and when they start selling courses or cohorts or workshops, whatever they want to, in order to monetize their audiences, how do they do it economically as well as experientially? That is where we use most of the sciences and technology in the company.
Fascinating. Thanks for sharing that. And Amit, yeah, let's hear from you as well. You know, just a little bit of example from your organization again, how AI is impacting your process today. And we're talking about personalization, but not only personalization, but you know, really scaling the entire process, tracking the progress of your students, all these factors. So how are emerging technologies empowering this for you?
I'll take few examples from like our tools which we have developed recently. Few things are like one, we have created a tool which basically read classroom copies, okay, which adds like individual remark for each and every student. Okay, so basically not a single teacher have enough time to go through and run through each and every line what student is writing on their notebooks. So this is our first and like big product which we have launched recently. Later on, we added few things on this one. So we have panels in our classroom, so which basically runs in a manner where it has cameras inside it, and whenever someone raise a hand or something sort of that one, it focus on that one a period and listen what the student want to convey, and based on that one, like we generates a report on the observation that how interactive the classroom was, and is the teacher or the lesson or something sort of that one is adding value to their education or not. So this is the second example I have. Third is we do have a public speaking app where basically we want our student to like be fluent and be expressive while they are talking with someone else. So we have an daily or like a weekly activity for a classroom where they upload their own with an AI generated random topic where they express their and it is basically based on grade in what which they are right now, and they express and they go through all the segment and we rate that, and that rating is not like 1 to 10 kind of thing. It's like we add value so that they improve, and in next step that add value and they learn things from that one. So these are the few examples which is helping basically through AI, and which we are right now using through Google AI only. And apart from that, same for the teacher side, we monitor our classrooms through mics, camera, where we help teachers to understand how productive they were in their classrooms. Like, is the classroom was interactive? Students were like active in the classroom or not? Were they like kind of interacting or responding when teacher is asking something or not? So these kind of things added value when we added these kind of features in our panel or in our app.
Wonderful. Just out of curiosity for both of you, how has been the response as you are gauging from both the students and the educators? How are they responding to such technologies?
Cool.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So for us, it's like what we have seen, parents are liking our public speaking app. Okay, because it is something we are giving a chart how they are improving. So it's totally reflecting what we are saying like 3 months back, now what is there. That is one thing. Second, even the parents are like more interested in app, what's coming and all, because this is something which is unique and which is not across all the schools which is running across India. So this is something which is making our K12 or our brand Orchid as an unique for each and every student. So we come with an idea that each student is champion. So that champion is something comes through different activity, and we are working on all kinds of their activity, either is co-curricular, either in their academic or in their any kind of interest.
Wonderful. Lots of excitement here. Mukul, how about for you?
I think they look at I think the general intuitive response for all stakeholders in this ecosystem, whether it's parents, students, aspirants, educators, creators. I think every one of them has realized that this is more of a tailwind for them than a headwind. They all realize that over a period of 5 years, this is going to way more assist them in reaching where they want to, whether it's in terms of for a student, they know that's gonna help them increase their probability of cracking an exam if they have it in them. For an educator or creator, they also know that if they leverage this, they are far more likely to become a national it's like this far more likely to get them a national presence than the one that they have today. So I don't think there's any reluctance or any kind of too much questioning that happens today. This used to be like pre-COVID, or probably 10 years back there was no chance. Like people would not even give you FaceTime to hear this. I think that COVID thing essentially fast-tracked this by at least a decade or so. And now that it has set into motion, everyone is like, you will find more aspirants as well as educators asking that what is the new tech that has come and how can we use them, rather than saying, hey, this can be cannibalizing to us. Like, good creators and educators are pretty confident on themselves that no amount of technology can replace them. In fact, they know that they can go from good to great if they rather worry about leveraging it than being worried about getting replaced from it.
Sure, wonderful. Right, so Vaibhav, some great food for thought here, I think. Again, would be great to understand now from Google Cloud perspective how you're really working with educators to empower them to open exactly this thought process that we are discussing, that all the technology is here to enhance the educational excellence, scale, caliber. How does Google Cloud do that?
So everything that they talked about, right, what Amit talked about, there is a technological might that needs to solve the use case that they're talking about, right? Let's pick up an example of, handwriting recognition. Every child has a different handwriting. It needs an accurate level of technology to understand what's been written there. And then when you assess it, you need a model that's trained enough to understand what's the right answer, what's the wrong answer. You need speech-to-text recognition. You need lots and lots of technological might which can scale down, scale up together to solve these use cases that they are talking about, right? The analytics that comes along with it, that which demography or which region geographically is performing well for, say, a ClassPlus, or where they should put more focus on or more, resources to get there, to make the life of a creator more easy, is where the whole, crux lies in. So this all is actually brought together by the technology, and we ensure that this is all available on the go, and not that we are spending, tons and tons of amount of time and resources to build that piece for them. So it's very, very flexible right now, very, very readily available, on the go. All these use cases are available in real time for them to just go and switch on one of those features, and the results might come. They might have to do some tweaking on their app to ensure that the results are optimized to their performance. But it all comes together at the back end, from using the technology at Google Cloud.
Wonderful. And again, from your vantage point, because you work with such a cross-section of EdTechs, institutions across geographies, what has been the response so far? So
we have been, in recent times, tying up with universities and institutes to ensure that this skill actually is imparted at a student level, at a student gross level. We recently tied up with Delhi University, where every student actually is now getting an opportunity to get trained on cybersecurity by Google Cloud or AI technologies of Google Cloud. We run our program called Digital Campus on Google Cloud, which is on the 3rd version right now. We recently signed up with Mallaradi University, where 50,000 students are now getting trained on Google technologies. And this program is scaling by and large every month, every year, every week. Our target, our North Star is to ensure that every student in the country, if they can get some kind of this experience of the tools available at their disposal, and they have a first-hand experience even before they come out of the institute, I think that's a win for us. For educator, for EdTechs like them, I think they themselves have capabilities which are inbuilt. We just try to cater to their needs, solve the complicated problems for them to understand what all is available at Google Cloud, because sometimes while you are evangelizing a solution, you may not know that what's available at the back end. So it's our job to ensure that we are bringing it on the front and say, okay, this is also possible, that is also possible. Does it make sense to you? Does this make sense to you? And then they pick up and choose from there, and we bring all this together for them. Yeah.
We've heard such great examples from all of you about how all of this is really coming together. So, Amit, thank you so much. All the very best for your future endeavors. It's been such a pleasure to have you here on ET Studios. And thank you for coming and sharing all your insights today. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that wraps our insightful conversation on how technology can truly scale quality education and bring it closer to every learner. Do stay tuned to ET Education for many more in-depth dialogues with the leaders who are truly shaping the future of education in India. Until next time, many thanks for watching.